Welcome to the Tiger's Den. This is the voice of Cheryl, and I am Toothless Tiger. Today we're going to talk about adhesion contracts. Everything in this land, worldwide, is done in contract law, which falls under commercial law. How many times have you gone to purchase an item, apply for a credit card, and you had to sign a contract? Most of the time we read parts of the contract, but all of that little writing, we say we'll read it later. Unfortunately, we never do. Until something happens and we want to end the contract. That's when we find out that the contract that we sign is considered an adhesion contract. The definition of adhesion contract: a standard form contract drafted by one party and signed by another in a weaker position. The signing party is typically a consumer with little commercial leverage and must either reject the deal or accept it with little chance to influence the terms. Sometimes courts may not enforce exculpation clauses in adhesion contracts. Adhesion contract. A contract of adhesion. An adhesion contract exists if the parties are of such disproportionate bargaining power that the party of weaker bargaining strength could not have negotiated for variations in the terms of the adhesion contract. Adhesion contracts are generally in the form of a standardized contract form that is entirely prepared and offered by the party of superior bargaining strength to consumers of goods and services. Adhesion contracts are commonly used for matters involving insurance, leases, deeds, mortgages, automobile purchases, and other forms of consumer credit. Because adhesion contracts do not afford consumers a realistic opportunity to bargain, the consumers are often faced with adhesion contracts on a take it or leave it basis. Under such conditions, the consumer has little to no ability to negotiate more favorable terms. Instead, consumers cannot obtain the desired product or service except by acquiescing in the form contract. Courts may look at the doctrine of reasonable expectations to determine whether to strike down an adhesion contract. The doctrine of reasonable expectations states that a party who adheres to the other party's standard terms does not assent to the terms if the other party has reason to believe that the adhering party would not have accepted the agreement if he had known that the agreement contained the particular term. In other words, people are bound by terms a reasonable person would expect to be in the same contract. Courts may also look at whether the provisions are written in clear, unambiguous terms when determining whether to strike down an adhesion contract. This is based on the doctrine of unconscionability. Procedural unconscionability deals with the contract formation process and whether the bargaining process was deficient. Some factors of procedural unconscionability include duress, fraud, undue influence, and fine print. Substantive unconscionability deals with the content of the contract and whether the nature of the contract terms is oppressive. Some factors of substantive unconscionability include inflated price, unfair disclaimers, immoral clauses, and contracts that contravene public policy. Electronic adhesion contracts. There are three types of electronic adhesion contracts: browse wrap, click wrap, and sign-in wrap. Browse wrap contracts may require consumers to click through multiple hyperlinks to read and agree to the terms and conditions. Therefore, courts usually do not enforce browse wrap contracts because of the procedural unconscionability of varied terms. See Juarez v. J.D. Closeouts, LLC, 36, miscellaneous, 3D 161. On the other hand, courts do generally enforce Clickwrap and sign-in wrap contracts. Clickwrap contracts require that consumers click "I agree" by means of an immediately available pop-up box. See CASB v. Microsoft Network 323 NJ Super 118. Sign-in wrap contracts include a hyperlink often labeled as terms of service or terms and conditions that is located by a sign-up button. Sign-in wrap contracts require that users electronically accept the terms by clicking "I accept" or "I agree" as the last step of the sign-up process before allowing consumers to use their product or services. This was last updated in December of 2021 by the WEX definition team. And it also has some terms that you can also look up: commerce, commercial activities, consumer protection, business law, commercial law, contracts, commercial transaction, courts, and procedure. They also have articles. I think it would be very wise if we start really understanding what's happening to us in this country, how we're being controlled as consumers, as constituents, as members of communities that are falling apart, or being gentrified to the fact that we're being outpriced and we have to move because we can no longer afford either the taxes or, if we live in apartment complexes, the rent. There are so many disingenuous people, and it comes by way of paper and pen. So I want to share that with you today. I'm getting ready to leave the tiger's den. Goodbye.
This video was made for education and entertainment purposes only. There's no malice or ill intent from the content creator. So please like, share, and subscribe, and have a great evening. Good night.